2022 Boston College Arts Festival. I'm the Visual Arts Coordinator, Yifan Wang.
And I'm the Visual Arts Coordinator Assistant, Megan Cassidy.
And now you're listening to the Artist Podcast series presented by the Boston College Arts Council Office.
Hi everyone, we're here with Yukti. How are you today?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. How about you start with a brief introduction about yourself?
Sure. My name is Yukti and I'm a freelance fashion and portrait photographer based in Dubai. I'm an exchange student here. My approach with photography is a lot more than just posing and then clicking the button. I really like to use creative tools and tell stories and invoke emotions in my audience.
Yeah, so how did you get involved in the arts? Or how long have you been involved in it?
Been doing it since high school. I really just started shooting with my success when I would travel with my family, and my friends saw potential in me, encouraged me. I upgraded my equipment, tried new styles, portraits, events, and just got more and more involved with it as time went by.
You submitted 3 photographs. I think they all seem to be part of a series. Are they part of a series?
My work is a 3-part series, and the first one's actually Dissonance, and then Angst, and then Release. So it represents a period of transformation, change, or growth that's disruptive. I'll start with talking about the first one, this dissonance. It's about an inconsistency between your beliefs and the present reality. So you have discomfort and you might be challenging the way you view yourself, the way you operate, your wants and needs, your ambitions, the people you surround yourself with, anything that's transformative and challenges your current state, really. There's some internal conflict that you're dealing with. And in the photograph, you'll see that her face is facing both the left and right side, and there's incongruency there. So she's a little lost and still figuring things out. And then the second stage is angst. This is what you might experience as a result of the first stage. You may feel anxious and frustrated about the state of the world, the state of your life, where your life is headed. And in the photograph, she has her head between her knees, and I'm depicting the inclination to turn inward in times like these. You may want to isolate yourself, and you may feel the safest when you're alone. Your energy and true personality may be subdued, and it's because you're dealing with this inner conflict and there's so many changes around you. And then finally, the third stage is release. Now that's a time of acceptance where you're able to release yourself out of this negative spiral or this negative state of mind. And it could be a simple turning point in your life or a gradual process to get there. But one day you're just comfortable with your new reality. However that looks like. It may be different from what you experienced, but you no longer feel like you're lost or out of place. And it's a peaceful, harmonious state. You're essentially free, and that's what my subject depicts as she's laying on the chair, relaxed, with an open body language. So that's the series.
They're amazing. I'm really curious as to how, for Dissonance, how were you able to capture the movement of her head?
Yes.
It's just so beautiful.
Thank you. We use this technique called long exposure. So it's a technique in photography where the camera, instead of taking the photo in a split second, takes its time to capture movement in the photo. So she was sitting very still and she just moved her head from left to right. And so the movement of her head was captured. Really, and it was a good tool to convey disharmony.
Yeah. Wow. It's so, and with all of them, you chose kind of a hazy, dark background almost. How did you do that? How were you able to achieve kind of just the light on the person and kind of just the shadows around?
Right. I'd say I spent a lot of time post-processing these images on Lightroom to get that dark and moody aesthetic, because it went with the story, it went with the emotions, it went with the vibe. It's mostly editing, I'd say, to create these effects. Yeah.
Wow, they're great. I love photography. I'm not, I wish I could say that I do it more often, but yeah, these are amazing. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what would you say inspired you to do this series? Or is there a specific style or time, like artistic time period that inspired you to do it in this way?
Yes. So I took these in my freshman year of college, and I think that's a time when almost everyone is changing a lot. Everyone's out of their comfort zone, and everyone's dealing with things they didn't expect to deal with. And I just wanted to depict the cycle of emotions that you go through when you're out of your comfort zone through photography. And I'd say, like, if there's one emotion that I want people to feel when they look at my work, it's just the feeling of being heard, seen, understood. Because when you go through this, you're often going through this alone. And it's more common than people think, but they usually believe that they're just dealing with it by themselves. So I just want to normalize the process.
Yeah, I know, freshman year of college and just like college in general can be pretty hard
Yeah.
time. And I feel like these images, these photos, they're kind of like refreshing in a way, like a reminder that everyone goes through it and that like you said, you're not alone. Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
essentially. Thank you.
So I'm kind of curious, have you always liked photography, or is there another medium that you also enjoy doing?
I've always been artistic. I've just dabbled through many different forms of art growing up. I started with painting and drawing and coloring as a kid. I had a phase where I danced a lot, and then I didn't really discover photography till I was in the 11th grade. I think I just joined Instagram and wanted an aesthetic feed, to be honest. I didn't realize how much I would enjoy it and how important photography would become, but it started pretty trivial, I'd say.
Yeah, photography, I feel like is I mean, I love art and I love photography and I wish I was better at it, and it's a lot of work. I feel like people don't really realize it. So much goes behind it, as you were describing.
I know, yeah. It's a learning process. We all are gonna get there. I'm still getting there. You're in your own process. Like, don't feel discouraged.
Yeah. So, would you say that you have artist or photographer that you are really like you admire greatly?
I have a few that I follow. David Saw would be one on Instagram because his brand is a lot about confidence, and he doesn't really preach body positivity because he's more about accepting however you are. He's not going to force you to be in a different state in your own journey with your body. Wherever you are, he just wants you to feel confident in a photo. And he focuses a lot on the way you pose and represent yourself in photos and how powerful that can be in changing how you look at yourself. And I really admire that. It's all about acceptance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that is a really great message, just to be like just to love yourself as you are and like accept
Yeah.
yourself as you are.
Yeah.
So, kind of moving forward, have you like done any like is there a certain type of what would you want to do in the future? Like how would you kind of develop your skills?
With regards to photography,
Yeah.
I'd say like I'm really just focusing on being in the present when I'm with my clients, models, or just friends that I'm shooting. I think something that I used to do before was like have a Pinterest board and try to recreate shoots of photographers that I looked up to. But I find that the shoots that I enjoy the most are shoots that convey real emotion, and I'm capturing the subjects in their present element. And I want to get better at doing that. I want to get better at bringing their personalities out and then capturing their candid selves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something I'm currently working on,
Yeah,
continue to work
so
on for the future.
do you like capturing pictures of people, like doing like portraitures, or Have you ever done anything like landscape or like anything? Would you ever like kind of want to do anything outside of, I guess, the human emotions and like capture like human experiences?
So I started out with landscape, and that's what I did for the first 2 years of my photography. And then when I started with portrait shoots, this shoot was actually my very first portrait shoot. The subject is my friend Judy, who told me that she wanted to build her modeling portfolio and she really liked my pictures and I should try shooting human beings. I'd say once I got into this, I fell in love with the aspect of dealing with humans, and then it's just more complex, in my opinion, in how you capture them and what you can do with the emotions of the picture and what you can convey with it. So I'd say that for now, I definitely don't plan on moving out of this element. I want to stick around with either portraiture, candid portraiture that could be like capturing couples and weddings and stuff like that, or even just being more creative with it and working with brands and fashion. As long as I'm shooting humans, I think I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved how you put it, that the human experience is just so complex.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always be
Yeah.
able to capture something. It's just so unique, and there's a beauty behind it. And like it's amazing that you can capture it in a photo.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. We
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having me.
Yes, I'm so glad that you submitted, and I can't wait to see it hung up at Arts Walk.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.